What's going on, everyone? Your mom's favorite YouTuber, KKS here, back at it with the next part of my 2020 to 2021 NBA award predictions. If you haven't already, go check out my MVP one, my Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year one. Um, it should be up here, the link, so click on that. And this one's going to be Most Improved Player. So if you've seen those videos already, then you know the drill. First guy is going to be the guy who I think wins the award. Second guy this time is going to be my dark horse, who I think will get second. And third is going to be a guy who I think should be on a lot of other people's predictions to win the award, but I haven't been seeing it as much, so I want to give him um, um, an opportunity to display the potential he has this year as being a finalist for the award. I personally think he's going to end third. Um, so, the guy who I think wins the award, Michael Porter Jr. Probably a safe pick here. Michael Porter Jr., the former number one prospect. Everybody thought he would be the number one overall pick a few years ago, but injuries kind of um, limited that opportunity. It took a massive hit to his draft stock, so he fell. I think he was picked 13th or 14th. I think 13th by the Denver Nuggets. Honestly, it couldn't have been a better situation. The Nuggets were already a playoff team. Um, they didn't need Michael Porter Jr. immediately, so they decided to take him, give him a year of rest, so he could come back 100% healthy. He didn't need to be rushed back or anything. Um, but yeah, so he took the time. He's back now. Last year he scored 9.3 points per game. I think he had 5 rebounds and 1 assist a game as well, which aren't great numbers, but the best numbers that he had in his statistics were his percentages. So he shot over 50% from the field and over 40% from three, which is great. It's exactly what you wanted to see from Michael Porter Jr. Um, but now, this is going to be the biggest role that he's had in his career. The Nuggets don't have Jeremy Grant anymore. They don't have Mason Plumlee. Um, Will Barton's just getting older. We're not sure what's going on with Gary Harris. So I think Michael Porter Jr. is the clear number three option in Denver, behind obviously Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Um, so I think he's gonna have a big up in his usage. So I think his percentages are going to go down, but his averages are all going to go up. I think he's going to shoot maybe 40, at least 46% from the field, and at least 37, 38% from three. Depends on how much they use him. Obviously, we don't know. Um, excuse me, but I think those numbers are going to go down simply because he's going to be taking more shots, which as a result is going to increase his points per game. I think he goes from 9 points per game to um like between 16 and 22. I think he's going to have 18. I think 18 points per game. He could be a potential 20 plus points per game scorer. It just depends on how much he works. Um, but yeah, I think offensively he's gonna take a big step forward. But another area where he needs to take a big step forward is his overall defense. Last year in the playoffs, he was a liability on the defensive end. Um, he did complain that um, the Nuggets needed to utilize guys outside of Jokic and Jamal Murray, which I believe they wanted to do. It's just that Michael Porter Jr.'s defense was a liability to them, and keeping him on the court was more negative on the defensive end than it was positive on the offensive end. So I think he realizes that now. They probably talked that over. So I hope that he put in a lot of work on defense in the short off season that he had, and I hope he continues to improve his defensive game as the season goes on. So again, I think Michael Porter Jr. wins the award. 18 points per game, 6 rebounds a game, maybe 3 assists a game. Um, again, it's the best role he's had in his career. He's the third option. He's definitely got the talent for sure. He's one of the best prospects actually of the last few years. And his percentages are so high that he can afford to take a hit to them. So I think he's gonna win most improved player. And yeah, let's move on to the second guy. Second guy, OG Anunoby. Um, OG Anunoby, another guy whose draft stock fell due to injuries in college. He played for championship contender his first few years in the league, so he hasn't had that great of a role playing behind Kawhi, Pascal, Serge Ibaka, etc. However, now that Kawhi's gone, Ibaka's gone, Gasol's also gone. This is also going to be his biggest role that he's ever had in his career. Um, Last year he scored 10 and a half points per game, 5 rebounds, and averaged an assist and a half, I believe. Um, and I think now we see the Raptors are going to start faltering a bit. Last year, everybody thought they would fall to be a lottery team. I didn't see it. I thought they would still be good because I thought Pascal was going to go from a great player to a star player. I thought he was going to take, I actually thought Pascal was going to win most improved last year. Um, again, because I thought Pascal was going to take the next step from being a great player to kind of that Giannis kind of a rise. I saw similarities between him and Giannis's game, and I thought he was going to take the same steps. However, he didn't quite get to Giannis's point, but he's still a star in the league. It's debatable whether you think he's a superstar or not. I'm gonna leave that for another time. But I think OG has a chance to showcase his potential this upcoming year. The Raptors have a solid backcourt with Kyle Lowry and Fred Van Vliet. I think OG is going to be probably the fourth option on their team. However, I think offensively, he's going to take a massive step forward. I think he's going to score 16 points per game this year. I think he'll get more rebounds as well, 6 or 7 rebounds. And yeah, he has a very strong mentality also, which is a reason why I think he's should be in strong consideration for the award. He's much like Kawhi. I don't know how many of you guys remember, but when he hit the game winner against the Celtics in Game 3 of the conference semis, um, after the shot, he just walked off like nothing happened, much like a Kawhi kind of a mentality. And during the interview, they were like, "Why didn't you celebrate? Or why weren't you acting surprised that you made it?" He said, "Why would I be surprised? I shot the shot because I thought it was gonna go in, and it went in." So he's got that mentality again. Very strong mentally, and I think he's a hard worker. He's only going to get better, especially with Nick Nurse, one of the best coaches in the league, developing him. I think OG Anunoby is going to be a great player. He has the talent and the tools and the great environment around him to get it done. So yeah, I think OG is going to get second, and third is Lauri Markkanen. Um, not enough people are talking about him this year. Um, Last year he scored 15, had 6 rebounds a game, had an assist and a half as well. But he also shot 42.5% from the field and 34% from three, which is where the issue was. He wasn't very efficient on the offensive side of the ball. However, that was with probably the worst coach in the league, Jim Boylan. Now he has a new coach, one of the best coaches in the league as well, and Billy Donovan. So I think the translation from one of the worst coaches to one of the best coaches is going to be beneficial for everybody on the Chicago Bulls. But I think especially Lauri Markkanen. Um, his team also is much better this year than it was last year. They added Patrick Williams with the fourth overall pick. They added what's his name, Garrett Temple. Daniel Gafford is going to be better than he was last year. Wendell Carter, Kobe White, Zach Levine, they're all going to take steps forward as they're all 1 year more experienced. They have a much better coach again. So I think with his team being much better, it's going to help improve his confidence and open up more opportunities for him to improve. He honestly may be the second best player on a very strong starting lineup. I mean, Kobe White, Zach Levine, Patrick Williams, himself, and Wendell Carter. That is a strong team. I mean, it's young. It might not make the playoffs yet, but there's no holes in that starting lineup. And on the bench, they have Satoransky, either Temple or Hutchison, shooting guard, small forward Otto Porter Jr., and as their big men, they have Thaddeus Young and Daniel Gafford. This is honestly a potential playoff team in the East, depending on how big of a step they all take forward with Billy Donovan. And I think because of the strong roster, Markkinen doesn't have to force up a lot of shots like he did last year. Last year, he also complained about his role a bit. He asked for a trade, I'm pretty sure. He just probably wasn't feeling the greatest confidence wise with Boylan and how young and inexperienced the team was. However, now I think all of the problems are gone. The only problem with him is that he has not got his contract extension. He hasn't gotten his contract extended, so he's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder. But I think that's a good thing for his game. I think it's going to motivate him to play hard. This is a make or break year for Lauri Markkanen. If he doesn't play well, he may never get the payment he wants to get. If he does play well, Chicago could keep him for a heavy payday, or he could go somewhere else and make a lot of money. You never know. Um, but I think this year, Lauri Markkanen becomes a 20 point per game scorer. I think he could. I don't think he'll get 10 rebounds, but I think he'll get 8 or 9. And I think his percentages are going to be much better as well. So I think from three, he shot 34%. I think it goes up to 37, 38. And from the field, I'm not sure if he can reach 50, but I'm sure he can get 47, 48. He's a big man who can shoot the three. I'm pretty sure Billy Donovan will find ways to get him opportunities that he lacked last year. And I think by the end of the year, he's going to be a contender for most improved player. He's going to be happy. He's going to have his confidence back, and he's going to turn into the player we all expected him to be coming out of the draft. Um, so yeah, those are my three guys. Honorable mentions: Christian Wood. The only reason I don't have him on here is because I'm not sure if the voters are going to consider how great he was at the end of last year and consider it improving from last year to this year. It's more as if he improved last year and it's just carried over onto this year. But I don't know. He could win. I don't know if they consider the whole season of last year in his averages, but I don't know. It is what it is. Another candidate, Derek Jones Jr. He hasn't had a role like this ever in his career. Um, he's going to be starting for the Portland Trailblazers for a team who was one of the worst defensive teams in the league last year, but has improved this year with the additions of Robert Covington and himself. So I think he's going to need to step up for the Trailblazers to be contenders this year, especially defensively. I think he's going to improve a lot on his defensive stats, and he's going to finally be able to play free with Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum in the backcourt. He can display his athleticism on the offensive end and obviously on the defensive end as they really need him there. And one last honorable mention, let me think. For most improved player, we try and think of somebody who didn't really score a lot last year, but will probably take a massive step forward. Let's see. My mind is blanking right now. Sorry about that. Okay, I could go in another direction with the Chicago Bulls. Maybe Kobe White. Last year, he was basically thrown in as a point in the role of a point guard, even though he wasn't quite ready. I don't think. He's a great scorer, great shooter, great driver, but he's not there yet as a floor general or a distributor. But I think now with Billy Donovan, he's gonna split that with Zach LaVine. I think he's gonna use Zach LaVine as more of a point guard as well. They can have their own two-point guard lineup that's gonna help benefit Kobe White and even Zach LaVine to be more of a ball dominant player. Um, so I think Kobe White could make a big step this year, although I don't think it's going to be enough to win Most Improved Player, or big enough to take such a big step in scoring and distributing yet. So I have him as an honorable mention, but I don't think he's going to win the award. I think it's going to be Michael Porter Jr., Christian Wood, if just depending on how the voters interpret his situation. And I think OG Anunoby and Lauri Markkanen have a good chance on their own. So thank you all for watching. If you agree, like the video, comment and let me know you agree. If there's somebody you think I missed, let me know in the comments, and I'll let you know if I think it's a good, if there's a good chance they can win Most Improved, or if I don't really see it happening. Um, so yeah, please subscribe. The next video is gonna be Sixth Man of the Year. And then we're gonna have Coach of the Year and my predictions for the NBA standings as well. So again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time.